Hello everyone, myself Gaurav Kulkarni, and today I'll be sharing some information regarding the containment in Java. So first of all, as we know, that uh, the Java support the concept of OOPs, that means the object-oriented programming, in which we have four pillars: abstraction, encapsulation, polymorphism, and inheritance. So some features has a relationship between the objects. Like example, we have seen inheritance. So inheritance is a relationship between the objects or the classes. We will take an example to understand this concept. So suppose I have two classes. The first one is the dog and the second one is the animal. So the relationship between these two classes is type of is a relationship. That means the dog is an animal. It proves the relation between the two classes. Such as there are again there are again two types of compositions or aggregations. We will see one by one. So aggregation is nothing but the relationship between the two classes or the two objects. It is a relationship between the two classes. In association, we have two types. The first one is the aggregation. The second one is the composition. Both are the same. The difference in between is like as the aggregation is nothing but it is a weak association between the two classes. That means weak association means the loose coupling between two objects. When suppose there are two classes, so due to the loose coupling, they the one object cannot exist, or one object can have another object without another object. That means both can exist independently. If I have to if I have to explain this, let's take an example of a car and a driver. So the car is an independent class and the driver is also independent class. So we can say that the car can exist without driver, and the driver can exist without car also. So if the driver does not have car, still he doesn't forget his driving skill. So we can say that the both objects can be exist independently. And the syntax for this aggregation is if we have to take a car of driver, then we should mention that the public class driver, and in the curly braces we will mention the method or main method private car. So when we have to call the properties of that car, so we have to create a object of the class driver, and by which we can exist, or we can call the properties of car, such example as wheel, color, features, etc. So there is another type of aggregation or a composition called as containment or composition. So containment or composition, it is a relationship between the two objects without which subject cannot exist. That means, as we have seen in containment or aggregation, it is a tight coupling. It is a loose coupling, wherein as composition, the relationship between the two objects is a form of has a relationship, and it is a tight coupling. Tight coupling means one object cannot exist without another object. So this is mandatory that the owner clause should be present for the existence of whole class. So suppose I have to take an example of a car or engine. So car has an engine, but engine is a part of car. So until unless the car is present, the engine will be present. If I have to decide to dismantle the car, the engine will have to dismantle also. So that means the lifetime of the engine is fully dependent on the engine, fully dependent on the car. So there are two classes which forms has a relationship. There is the first one is the whole class or has class, whole class, and the second one owner class, and the second one is the part class. So that means the class A is a whole class or owner class, and class B is a part class. So that the life cycle or the life dependency of class B is fully dependent on class A. So the syntax for the composition is we have to mention a public class of public class of car, and in the pair of curly braces we will mention the private engine. So containment. So we can conclude that containment is a technique through which we can describe the reference variable between the two and more classes, and to access them we need to use the instance variable. So what are the advantages of containment? So containment can be used for the code reusability. So the code can be reused again and again without any interference or without any without any loss. And the second advantage is the code cannot expose the main or private class A to the other third user. That's it for today. Thank you.